Trump's main argument has been in the last months, I will stop them from having a nuclear weapon. Of course, anyone that knows the history of this knows that this is Orwell to the nth power. By that, I mean such bizarre propaganda, you don't quite even know where to start. The reason is that the Iranians have not pursued a nuclear weapon. Our own intelligence agencies have said that repeatedly. What they have pursued, though, is a treaty with the UN Security Council to confirm that, to put them under strict monitoring under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, but in return for ending the U.S. economic warfare on Iran. What Iran has wanted for 15 years is you supervise us, you control us, fine, but lift your sanctions. Let us breathe. Let us have a normal economy. Let us trade. And President Obama, and by the way, one other thing, let us have our own money back because the United States has confiscated tens of billions of dollars of Iran's money. Iran's money, not our money. Because we do that as an empire. We freeze the money of other countries. We sometimes just overtly take it and use it for something else. It's rather obnoxious to my point of view and rather self-defeating in the long term for the United States to have the reputation that it just steals other people's fiscal and financial resources. But we did that with Iran. So what Iran has wanted is diplomacy. And I come back again. They're nice people. They're diplomats. And I sometimes tell them, you don't even know who you're dealing with here, how nasty this is, how difficult this is. No, we want an agreement, Professor Sachs. Do you know who we might speak to about negotiations and so forth? Very civilized, very nice people. In 2015, such an agreement was reached. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the JCPOA. It was reached not only with the United States, but with Britain, with France, with Russia, with China, and with Germany. The 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council plus Germany, called 5+1. Then it went to the UN Security Council, where it was unanimously backed. Then came the Zionist lobby in the United States. Oh, no, you can't have an agreement with Iran. They're the evil empire. You can't do this. And so when Trump was elected in the first term, he ripped up the JCPOA. This is the approach that you don't want them to have a nuclear weapon when you had the control? No, this is the opposite. This is, we need to change the regime because they humiliated the United States by escaping from our empire. We tried to defeat them in many ways, but they stood up to it. We need to defeat them. There's an Israeli version, which is not exactly the same. And the Israeli version is we need to have absolute control over the Middle East so that we can pursue our greater Israel agenda. This is not exactly the U.S. cause, but there are people in the U.S. that are the backers of that distinct cause. That's not Israel saying you escape from the American empire. That's Israel saying we control almost all of the Middle East militarily, but Iran we don't yet control. So that's the last big prize. And that's the other part of this agenda right now and why Israel is even more against the off-ramp than the United States. Trump is against the off-ramp because he can't declare victory, because he would lose face, because it would be, he'd face pressure groups, because there are, we have the Israel or the Zionist lobby, I would call it, in the United States. For Israel, the issue is uh, somewhat distinct, but Israel's main issue is that it wants complete military dominance of West Asia and the Middle East and even into the Horn of Africa and North Africa. And it almost has that. Not that it can easily control all of the territory, no, by no means, but it is able to act with impunity. It's able to invade Lebanon. It's able to occupy Syria. It's able to overthrow other countries' governments. And that's what it wants. But it faces an obstacle. And the obstacle is Iran.
So most people don't wake